Morning, folks. Certified Hoarder here. If you're in a season of isolation right now, if you believe in God, even the slightest bit, listen, you don't have to compare what you think your faith is and what you think my faith is, because I was an atheist. This is not a game of comparisons. God is not one that's going to try to make you compare. The devil is. And he's going to use that as discouragement for you to say, man, I don't feel the way that person feels. Or they say they hear from God all the time in a different voice and I don't. I did that. I didn't do that. Satan did it to me. Satan does it to everybody. He tries every trick on every person, and like a master manipulator, which I have been in my life, like a master manipulator, he hyper focuses on your responses. He knows when your stress level's up. He knows when you curl up, when your shoulders shrink, when your head sinks. He knows when you get a little bit of fear. He knows when he's stroking your pride, your ego. He can see the arrogance on your face. He speaks to us in our heads, in our inner monologue, our own, what we perceive as our own thoughts. Him and his little workers, they talk to us to coerce us. They are manipulators and agents of coercion. They do not have control of us. They don't have the power to make you reach up and grab for something. They don't have the power to grab your hand and slap your face with it. Okay, you have to surrender control through the lack of discipline that comes from sin. Sin is when you see a temptation, psychologically acknowledge that it's not right or not good for you, and you still go and do it. Because it gives you a hit of pleasure, of thrill, of stress relief. It's dopamine. That's all there is to it. It's dopamine. It's a molecule. Science didn't make it. Science just named it. Science named what God made. And he made it a whole lot longer ago than man figured it out. It's just a molecule, but it gives your brain sensations. And this molecule is highly addictive, and it's actually toxic, which is why our cells have dopamine receptors, and they downregulate when we get too much of it to protect us from it. So that means where we used to get a buzz from one beer, now we need two. Where we used to get a buzz from just looking at a pretty girl, on a Cosmopolitan magazine at the newsstand, or whatever. Now we need to see a Sports Illustrated swimsuit centerfold. Then we need to see a Playboy. Then we need to see a Hustler. Then we need to watch porn. Then we need to watch dirtier and dirtier and dirtier porn, and more and more and more. Because dopamine is what you get. Okay, it's what you get from the pleasure of looking at that girl, or maybe looking at that guy if you're a woman. And the cells are saying, oh, that feels good, but too much is not good. Let's choke off the pathway so that we don't get so much of this stuff. Let's regulate and reduce the amount of dopamine we're getting for our own best interest. And you say, well, I don't feel as good as I did the last time, so I might as well do more. It felt good last time, I'll do more. And you just chase down that road. Now, if you're in a period of isolation, God is using it to work on you. He says with a mustard seed of faith, a mustard seed can grow into a huge tree. I have grown mustard, so I'm not just repeating it from the Bible. I have grown mustard as a cover crop. And it grows a big old stocky trunk like no other lettuce type brassica I've experienced. Mustard is a brassica. I've never seen lettuce grow a like, you could make a stick out of a 2-year-old mustard trunk. So but it's just it's the tiniest little seed, okay? Tiniest seed. My faith started as a mustard seed because I did not believe. But it has grown into a trunk that is really, it's like I'm climbing up that trunk because it's dominating my life and it's fixing all the problems that I made for myself. I think it's going to pour out and get really loud, so I'll wrap this one up. If you turn to everything that you could think of for relief, or for pleasure, or for joy, or to fill that empty space, please just let me sow 1 or 2 little mustard seeds. Just consider that some guy that you don't know who claims that he's trying to act in your best interest, just consider the slightest possibility. If you'll consider the slightest possibility of all these stupid ads that say, did you know the southern border is still open, they're giving migrants $5,500 checks? If you'll even consider, 99% of me says this is just an ad designed to provoke the American people during an election season. That's 99% of me. But 1% of me says, yeah, this country's so stupid they probably are giving checks to anybody that walks in with an address. If you'll let that mustard seed be planted, please also let this mustard seed be planted. And let this one grow. Because if you let that one be planted and you water it, it will grow into a tree of hatred and jealousy and envy. And just you'll be furious and miserable. Which is exactly what politics wants from you. That's why I want you to be freed from politics. There's Biden on the left, Trump on the right, and Jesus in the middle. And neither one of those two idiots can save their soul or your soul. But the one in the center, that's where you should have your head facing. And guess what? It is very uncomfortable for you to move forward in a direction that's good for you while continually looking to the left at your favorite politician or continually looking to the right at your favorite politician. You're going to hurt your neck, okay? Or you're going to turn off path of what's best for you and you're going to walk in the direction that's best for them. And you're going to be completely, wildly enraged and polarized. You're going to be in love with everybody on that team that you are being drawn to and repulsed by everybody else. And you're going to be giving all your money to this team. But the reality is that two teams are in a con to destroy your life, destroy your country. They work together. They're playing a game of ping pong, and you're in the middle, furious. Let me plant that mustard seed for you. You don't need politics. You don't need a president to be your leader. They will not lead you to heaven. They will not lead you to heaven. They will not lead you to heaven. The guy in the middle, if you avoid these two idiots, the guy down the center is Christ, and he will lead you where you want to go if you let him. Please consider watering that seed.